Good morning, everybody. Sorry about that, finger over the camera. Start again. Take 3 in between my hay fever sneezing. But I just wanted to do a quick video before the heat of the day comes over and the whole garden is absolutely bathed in scorching sunshine. Temperatures in our front garden did reach over 30 degrees centigrade yesterday. So this morning I've taken a little bit of a precaution. Even with the mulch down, I have watered the most tender stuff like the kale and the rhubarb, because that does tend to wilt quite a bit if it's too hot and dry. The sweet williams are looking absolutely lovely, and so is the rhubarb. The red hot pokers were absolutely demolished by slugs, and now the tips of them are covered in black fly. So yeah, the ants are sitting harvesting all the nectar off of them at the moment. They don't actually get rid of the aphids or black fly, they harvest the nectar that the black fly produce. It's a symbiotic relationship, but not one that we really want in the garden. But we let nature do it. Look, the valerian, even the valerian herb, valerian, is covered in black fly there. But if we get rid of that, we might not get any ladybirds. Okay, the strawberries I've had, of the strawberries all over this front garden, I have had almost a 3-litre tub of strawberries already in just 2 harvests. The honeyberries, there are little berries there, but they're very small, so I probably need to feed and water this bush a bit more to get bigger fruit. But I'm not too fussed if we get fruit or not. It's just a beautiful bush, and I absolutely love the pink and the dark stems of the bush. It's really very decorative. The foxgloves are past it now, and I probably should cut the stalks down before they self-seed everywhere. The lavender is flowering. The roses have finished their first flush of roses. I've deadheaded and cut back on them just so as I can get another flush, because usually this rose can flower. Look, there's more buds right there. They can flower right the way up to December. I've left the pak choi to go to seed and grow my own seed. Oh, that jasmine smells beautiful. Probably what I should not be doing with hay fever, putting my nose in flowers. I don't care, I love the smell and the scent. This evergreen thornless blackberry is full of flowers and fruit coming, so they have to get extra water and feed in at the moment. Just as they're setting fruit, I give them my comfrey feed with that, and it has bushed out really nicely, and it really is a massive bush because it's gone over that other side of the arches. The jasmine, having recovered after that nasty bit of snow and ice we had earlier this year, I have planted out some nasturtiums and callaloo, coriander, and some more of the different kales. I've got that's a broccoli and a Nero kale. South Hill is looking lovely. Ladies' Bed's Draw 2 surviving. When I cut back all of the forget-me-nots, that is all of it that I chopped down, seeds and all. I just dropped it underneath and it's already composting away. There was quite a bit there, and it's already starting to disappear and form soil, but this soil is very, very lacking. So this bed in the middle is going to take at least another 5 to 6 bags of compost to mulch it properly and protect the soil and start, bulking out the layers of the compost better, because underneath is still, it shows that there are worms in there because it's taking the compost that I have put. I have put loads of bags, at least since last year, 12 bags of compost on here. It's already been taken into the soil. That's how bad the soil was before we moved in. It was just not worked for 40 years. So everything is using up the compost and taking it down into the soil. So we need to keep topping up until it has a permanent layer of compost on the top to keep it mulched, and then it'll start to be a bit more like a forest floor where everything is just green matter that falls to the ground and rots naturally. So I will just keep chopping and dropping and composting until I've built up the level of the soil to the same level as the top of the mulch on the paths. The primroses are fine, not flowering obviously, but they're surviving nicely. My daylilies this year have survived nicely, not too much damage with the slugs, which I imagine it would have because the slugs demolished the red hot poker behind it. Oops, I see some Russian vine at the back there. I'll deal with it now quickly. If I can get to it. Where is that coming from? I'm going to have to find that. Oh, it's coming from here. It must have come from the allotment with the red hot pokers. Look at that. Now this plant has beautiful white or blue flowers. They're usually white, Russian vine, bindweed we call it, and it will overtake everything. It can even grow through concrete, so I do get rid of that. And the rose bay willow, which I'm not going to drop them because they've got seed heads on them. Hang on, let me just do that while I'm here, because I'm not coming back out here in the heat of the day. And strawberries are still doing really well. Calendula needs cutting back. They've set seed as well again, so I'll cut them right back short again. The cloth of gold, Achillea, the yarrow there, starting to flower. There'll be beautiful yellow flowers there soon. The bees will be very happy with that, and all sorts of other flying insects. The wisteria is still growing, but it's really struggling because usually wisteria just flies away. I think maybe I need to hang on, buses. I think I need to feed and water that a bit more and mulch more with more compost just to keep going. The oh my goodness, the hellebore over there, the root system keeps getting exposed because it's above the soil level. It's not deep enough to put what was there, so I have to keep mulching and topping up and earthing up with compost. The Aquilegia, I've cut back seeds. There are more to cut back, so I get more flowers again this year. All of the calendula along the trellis are coming out, and I won't chop and drop them because I don't want to make space for slugs, because this week I'm going to be putting my sweet peas along the trellis. So I think these calendula have had their day along the trellis there. But I'll chop and drop them around the Eleagnus to protect that more. The curly kale, doing fine since I transplanted them, and seeming to endure the heat that comes over the front garden in the afternoon. And usually the kales and cabbages and all brassicas prefer a bit of shade, but there's not much there for them in this front garden. In time I'll build a long trellis fence along the whole path to grow things along, to shelter the garden more from the winds that come from that direction. The clary sage has been gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. Look at those flowers, just look at them. Beautiful the way they've come up, beautifully bright. Look at that. And this is at my chest height, but the slugs have still been demolishing it, even though it's flowering. Salad burnet is flowering nicely there. It's only small, it's not grown very big. It used to grow very big at the allotment, but that's because there was much better soil there. Over time, hopefully, we'll have built up enough soil here to make it just as productive as it was at the allotment. Lemon balm, looking nice. That comfrey has survived. All the other comfrey I've put in has been munched by the slugs, but that one I put in later and it seems to have survived. The clematis in the pot is flowering. There's some pretty flowers on there already, and the rose is growing nicely. The violas are getting absolutely demolished by the slugs. Somebody trampled accidentally on my salvia, but I just left it and it is still surviving. Look at those flowers. Look at those gorgeous flowers on there. No, it better be salvia because that's what it said on the packet when I sowed the seeds. But what a beautiful, beautiful flower. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Pinks most of it being demolished, but still surviving. Yeah, the front garden's doing okay, but I just got to keep an eye on it. Look at that, the hydrangea has come back to life again, and that gets absolutely huge. So I shall have some beautiful cut flowers for the house as well. And that's a lovely bush. Hate it in that spot. It really does take over, but I'm not going to dig up the whole garden because that would be a humongously big root ball, and I am not going to be digging that up. And I cut it right back down, half the size of that in the autumn, and it still gets even bigger than that. So we'll have beautiful flowers. I need to put, for the birds, because we do get a lot of birds in the front garden, I need to grow more bushes, perennial bushes, hopefully some evergreens in there as well, and put a bird table, or a bird bath in there, because the birds come in here a lot now that we've got a garden, and there's no water for them in the front. In the back garden they are always around the tiny little, just that one flower pot saucer that I put out there with a few stones in and then filled it with water. The birds are there all the time, and I'm sure we'd have more birds in the front garden if we put water out for them, and especially in this heat. So there you go, front garden. And as you can see, the sun is already creeping over on that direction. By midday this will be absolutely bathed in hot sunshine, and you can't stand out here, it's that hot, because all the concrete in the building just reflects all the heat. So it's great in the summer for really hot, heat loving plants. Terrible in the winter for most of the plants because it gets absolutely blasted. We have no real shelter, so hopefully the things like the hawthorn, the eleagnus, the jostaberries, the wisteria, all of that will grow higher, just a bit higher. Even, some of them I'd allow, like the hawthorn I'd allow to grow as tall as, from here, the view of that house across the green. And I also need to, there are aronia berries there, so hopefully the bushes will grow as tall as the jostaberries. But I need to grow a fence of bushes along there just to shelter this garden more from the extreme heat in the summer and the extreme cold in the winter. And hopefully, over time, this will be more of a low-level forest garden, with just at least 1, 2, 3 layers at least of the forest layering principles. I don't want any more than that because we can't have them too high in the front garden. We cut out too much light. There are also, hang on, traffic. Yep, there's a big construction site at the bottom of the road where they've taken away a humongous piece of our green countryside. Well, not quite countryside, it's a public green. But they've taken that and built loads and loads, hundreds of houses. They're still busy doing that. But there you are. I expect that means that this little green corner across the road is also fair game for building at some point. I will definitely grow taller bushes by then. But you see, I've lost my train of thought. I was talking about forest garden layers, and then of course in that corner there where the hawthorn is and the wisteria, as it grows taller it will create a bit more shade, and there's a nice sheltered spot by that low wall, so I will put in hostas and Solomon's seal and a few more plants like that over there. Where that, I think that is not pak choi, it doesn't look like that one down there, so it must be the choisum. I know I grew some of that last year and one I kept as it survived, so it must be the choisum then, and those seeds are almost ready for harvesting, and when that gets chopped down I'll find other stuff to put in there. And on cue there's a blackbird right there, look at that. Yes, I saw you there. Just over here, actually, before I go, I'll show you this. Look at this, right? Bird droppings everywhere, all over that broccoli and on the pot. I thought that was fantastic because they're using the arch as a perch, and as they take off, they defecate. And I think in that pot I should put my my courgettes, hungry plants, and they love all that, you know, the bird muck going on there. I know it's still raw, but it'll go in as it's watered. So I'm going to put the little courgette plants I've got in there with that, because that obviously gets quite a bit of bird droppings. Brilliant stuff. I love it when that happens. I don't have to feed it then. Great. Well, that's about it. I have to go now. Lots of clearing out and tidying up to do inside while I've got time and there's nobody in the house. And I will speak to you all soon. Bye bye. Have a lovely day.